Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the graduation candidates, the faculty, and the platform party, and remain standing through the conclusion of the national anthem.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 53rd commencement of the Citadel Graduate College. I am Sally Selden, Provost and Dean of the College. On behalf of our President, General Glenn Walters, welcome to the Citadel and the 2022 commencement ceremony for the Citadel Graduate College. Today, we celebrate the achievements of these extraordinary graduates. Together, they stand strong, sharing the common bonds of honor, duty, and respect, the core values of a Citadel graduate. Please stand for the invocation, which is going to be given by Chaplain Aaron Meadows, and remain standing for the national anthem.
Before I pray, I just want to say something you don't often hear from graduates like myself from the Corps of Cadets, which is that I'm so glad that y'all are part of the Citadel family, and certainly congratulations on all the hard work and what you're getting to do and receive today. Would you join me in a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, we gather this day to celebrate the accomplishments of the members of our Citadel graduate community and this culmination of their studies. In the midst of this celebration, we pause to honor our brother, John Bruner, who was taken away from us this week. We honor his journey along with the journeys of all of our Citadel Graduate College students who are with us today. May this ceremony instill joy in each of them and those who have been a part of their Citadel experience as they receive their diplomas today. Allow the lessons they have learned in the course of their studies to bless their lives and those they will serve in their vocational settings. Enable them to be proud ambassadors of the Citadel and the knowledge and experience they have gained here. May their efforts and sacrifice as students here bear much fruit in transforming this world into what you created it to be. We pray all of this to you because yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory now and forever. Amen.
Please be seated. Our College Marshal, Dr. Joel Berlingeri, will now exit. It is an honor for me to introduce the 20th President of the Citadel, General Glenn Walters, United States Marine Corps retired Citadel Class of 1979. He returned to his alma mater in 2018 after serving for 34 years and as the 34th Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, the second ranking officer in the Marines, and his final assignment in a distinguished 39-year military career. General Walters served as a naval aviator and test pilot and in command and staff roles at every level. Please join me in welcoming General Walters.
For the veterans in the audience, it's 39 years, 6 months, and 4 days, because you all know that has something to do with your retirement. Okay. Distinguished guests, faculty and staff, friends and relatives, and most important of all, to our outstanding graduates, I'm pleased to share this significant milestone in your education with you today. Your class came together from many different paths and across 23 states, but you shared a focus and determination to complete a degree program while balancing many other demands on your time. You shared a goal of making a more significant contribution in your chosen careers. Since 1966, the Citadel Graduate College has been a vital part of this institution and an important contributor to advancing the Low Country. During this academic year, the Citadel Graduate College will award a total of 479 degrees, including 363 at the graduate level and 116 at the baccalaureate level. The Citadel Graduate College provides Low Country professionals and students around the world with a flexible and supportive learning environment, both in the classroom and online. Our graduate students come from all walks of life, many with full-time jobs and/or families. Some of our students are active duty military personnel and other are military veterans. Together you represent a talented group of people who are self-directed, highly motivated, and I am confident that our society will be well served by you, our graduates. I am proud of you and your accomplishments that we are going to recognize today. I know you will represent the high ideals of the Citadel wherever your life takes you. Thank you, and at this time, I'll ask Dr. Selden to resume the program.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the distinguished guest on the platform. I would ask each of them to stand briefly. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Colonel Dylan Goff, class of 2002, Chair of the Citadel Board of Visitors. Seated on the balcony, Lieutenant General Claudius Watts III, United States Air Force retired, class of 1958, 17th President of the Citadel. Colonel Allison Dean Love, the Citadel Graduate College, class of 1993, Board of Visitors. Colonel J.C. Dominic, United States Air Force, retired, class of 1971, Board of Visitors. Colonel Triz Smith, M.D., class of 1998, Board of Visitors. Ms. Deb Hardgrove, Designated Representative of the State Superintendent of Education. Lieutenant Colonel Chuck Bledsoe, United States Army, retired, class of 1991, President of the Citadel Alumni Association. And Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Meadows, Chaplain and Director of Religious Activities. Please join me in recognizing these distinguished guests for their leadership and commitment to the success of the Citadel and the CGC class of 2022. We are pleased to have 23 Citadel alumni present diplomas to their family members. Will these Citadel alumni please rise and let us welcome you with a round of applause. Graduation Day places a spotlight on the primary mission of the Citadel, academic achievement. As a college, we understand that the greatest tool in any civilian endeavor or military engagement is one's mind. The faculty devoted their efforts to engage and challenge our students during their time here. And many people are involved in educating principled leaders, and I'd like to introduce several of them now. First, the academic leadership of the Citadel, the deans, academic department heads, and chair of the Faculty Senate. Please rise and be recognized. Also present are representatives of the more than 200 talented and dedicated Citadel faculty. Will you please rise and be recognized? And finally, let us recognize the families of our candidates for graduation. Without their support, we know today would not have been possible. Will the family members in the audience please rise and be recognized? General Walters will now introduce the commencement speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Claudius E. Watts IV, known to us as Bud Watts, is a private investor and founder of Meeting Street Capital LLC, a private investment firm focused primarily on early state software business. One of you can tell me what that is after the ceremony. Mr. Watts also serves as the chair of the board of directors, CommScope Incorporated, and as a senior advisor to the Carlyle Group, where he has been a partner for nearly 2 decades. From May 2016 until May 2020, he served as the chair of the board of directors of Carolina Financial Corporation. In addition to his current business activities, Mr. Watts serves on numerous for-profit and nonprofit boards, including the chair of the Citadel Trust Board, the Citadel Foundation Board, the chair of the Belle W. Barak Foundation, and the vice chair of Roper St. Francis Foundation. While in college, Mr. Watts served as a fighter pilot in the United States Air Force in a number of leadership positions nationally and internationally. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering, cum laude, from the Citadel and his MBA from Harvard Graduate School of Business Administration. In 2018, he received an honorary Doctor of Commerce degree from the Citadel for his leadership as chair of the Citadel Foundation Board of Directors, where he served as the driving force behind the successful 6-year Foundation for Leadership campaign that raised over $250 million for this college. Please join me in giving a warm Citadel welcome to our 2022 commencement speaker, Mr. Bud Watts, Citadel Class of 1983.
Good afternoon. Colonel Goff and the members of the Board of Visitors, General Walters, General Watts, I don't get to call him that often, Dr. Selden, distinguished faculty and staff, and most importantly, graduates, your families, and your friends. Thank you all for inviting me here today on this very special occasion. I'm flattered, I'm honored, and I hope that I'm up to the task. Before I go on, I want to acknowledge one member of the Board of Visitors in particular, Allison Dean Love, Citadel MBA Class of 1993. Having been elected to the board 22 years ago, Allison is now the longest serving member of the Board of Visitors. Over the years, I've seen Allison in action. I want to assure you that she is a fierce and loyal advocate for the Graduate College and its students. Moreover, she and her husband, Phil, have been incredibly generous with their philanthropy to the Graduate College via the Citadel Foundation. Allison's loud, proud advocacy of the Graduate College and her generous philanthropic support are incredible. Allison, on behalf of our soon-to-be graduates, thank you for your leadership over the years in sustaining, supporting, and improving the Graduate College. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, now, to set the stage for my remarks, I want to do a quick poll of you graduates. I'm going to ask you at least 3 questions. How many of you expect the rate of change and the workplaces that you'll enter to be about the same as the pace of change over the last 5 or 10 years? Not many people. I'm looking for shows of hands. How many think it's going to be faster? How many people think it's going to be slower? You were just adjusting your glasses. How many of you don't really care right now and just want me to get on with my speech so you can get out of here? All right. I have 2 objectives today. First, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about that topic, the pace of change in the workplace and industry that's coming. And second, I want to get down and offer you some very concrete advice as you leave here and launch the next chapters of your career. But first, pace of change. Let's start with a parable. It involves some math, so please bear with me. Many centuries ago, a traveler introduced the game of chess to a wealthy Indian king. The king thoroughly enjoyed the game and asked the traveler what reward he would like for introducing such an important game to him. The traveler said, Your Highness, I'm a very modest man. All I need is some rice. 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, double that to 2 on the second, 4 on the third, and so forth, doubling it for all the squares on the chessboard. The king thought he knew a good deal when he saw it, and he quickly said, yes, you are a modest man, and he directed his court to make the reward come true. But much to the king's chagrin, he quickly realized that he'd been duped. Recall that a chessboard has 64 squares. The king did not immediately comprehend what 63 doublings would generate. At the halfway point, for example, on the 32nd square alone, the king owed 2 billion grains of rice. That's 75,000 pounds of rice. It's a lot of rice. But this compounding action was just getting going. When they calculated the required grain count on the 64th square, it came to 9 quintillion grains of rice. That's 9 with 18 zeros. 9 billion billion. That's 160 billion tons or 250 years worth of current global rice production annually. Well, at this point, the versions of the story diverge. In the first case, the king sadly went bankrupt trying to meet his obligation. And in the second, the king shortcutted the whole situation and had the traveler beheaded. Both outcomes are obviously terrible, and both were caused by an all-too-human tendency to underestimate the power of compounding, particularly in the long term. That's because compounding phenomena progress slowly and then progress or accelerate all of a sudden. Slowly, then all of a sudden. So what does this have to do with the pace of change you should expect and prepare for? Well, the parable obviously highlights the power of compounding, and more specifically, compounding in the long term. And it highlights what inventor and technology strategist Ray Kurzweil refers to as the second half of the chessboard. An incredibly important compounding phenomena that's cranking away in the background right now is called Moore's Law. And it will dramatically accelerate the pace of change that you're going to experience. Coined in 1965 by Gordon Moore, a co-founder at Intel, Moore's Law states in simplified terms that the number of transistors that can be packed onto a single silicon chip doubles about every 18 to 24 months. Accordingly, the amount of computing power that can be packed into a given area or volume also doubles every 18 to 24 months. So why is this important? Well, the first silicon-based transistors were sold in 1958. These were single silicon transistors. Think of them as grains of rice. Fast forward to today. We've had 36 doublings since 1958 in terms of transistor density and computing power per square inch of silicon. Apple recently released a chip that features, get this, 114 billion transistors. Interesting, that's basically on schedule with Moore's Law as predicted in 1965. But the really important point here is that with this 36th doubling, we're well into the back half of the chessboard. And as Mr. Kurzweil says, that's where things get really interesting. We entered the back half of the chessboard about 10 years ago. Think about what we've seen since then. An explosion in smartphone adoption. Think about this, 7 billion people with a miniature supercomputer in their pocket. We've seen explosions at Google, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Explosive growth at Tesla and SpaceX. Widespread adoption of voice recognition applications. Explosive growth of the sharing economy. Think Airbnb and Uber. The emergence of drones for both military and commercial uses. And of course, the remarkably rapid development of the mRNA vaccine by Moderna, a tech-enabled business that didn't even exist before 2010 and didn't ship $1 of commercial product before 2020, when it started shipping the COVID vaccine. I could go on, but suffice it to say that these developments created massive opportunities for billions of people. But at the same time, they upset and disrupted industry after industry, and along with them, millions of careers, specifically millions of careers here in the US. Meanwhile, in the workplace itself, we saw widespread adoption of tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom. Who would have believed how many people could do their jobs completely remotely? We also saw the very early stages of white-collar job automation, widespread adoption of highly specialized industry-specific software applications, massive improvements in robotics on the factory floor, and the early adoption of applications using machine learning and artificial intelligence as partners to humans in analysis, decision support, and customer interface. Again, I could go on, but it's obvious that most workplaces have changed a lot in the last 10 years. What's ahead? I don't have a crystal ball, but in my humble opinion, you ain't seen nothing yet. There are a few trends that I'm virtually certain will cause tectonic shifts in business, healthcare, and defense. Widespread adoption of machine learning and artificial intelligence, in many cases with no human in the loop. The emergence of commercially viable quantum computing. Widespread automation of tasks historically associated with white-collar jobs. Rapid development of remarkable tech-enabled medical devices, medicines, and vaccines. The growth of Web 3.0, blockchain technology, and decentralized finance, and widespread adoption of virtual and augmented reality applications. As I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. As we move deeper into the second half of the chessboard, expect many of these developments to be startling, seemingly coming out of nowhere. Remember, slowly, and then all of a sudden. The rate of change is going to increase. You heard it here. Be prepared. All right. Now, having talked at a high level at 50,000 feet in theoretical terms about advances in technology and the changes they're going to generate, let me pivot and come way back down to planet Earth and talk about some very concrete advice about how to survive and thrive in the face of such change. The advice I'm going to offer is generally derived from advice I received early in my career, beginning when I was a young lieutenant in the Air Force. I've adapted the advice many times and to different settings, but their core tenets are timeless and have served me well over the decades. I hope they will for you. So here I go, and by the way, I have 5 of them, and my wife is going to tell me that was too many. Number 1, be a lifelong learner. Think of your graduation not as the finish line, but as the starting line. Be well read. Pay attention to news of technology breakthrough, emerging businesses, and new business models. Constantly ask yourself and others how these emerging phenomena can impact your industry, your organization, and your job. Don't be the last to know, be the first to know, and then act and lead. Number 2, be curious and be a student of the game. Don't ever be that person who just does the minimum to get a job done and then moves on. Understand your job. Understand both the internal and the external environment. Become the expert that others seek out. But in becoming an expert, don't become complacent. Once you're up a curve, find the next curve and go get up it. And as you're looking for the next curve, embrace change. If it's new, if it's challenging, run to it. To modify the old hockey metaphor, skate to where the puck is and then become an expert. 3, treat the job you have as the best job you'll ever have. Never treat it like a stepping stone or a holding pattern. Your boss and your peers can smell those attitudes a mile away. Even if you know you're going to move on, you'll want great references in the future. Today, when high-quality firms go through their recruiting and hiring processes, and when investors vet new entrepreneurs, they always do more backdoor background checks than they do conventional checks with references provided by candidates. And in today's world of LinkedIn and other social networks, a recruiter or investor can find virtually anybody that you used to work with. Number 4, build a network. A healthy, thriving, and growing network can be a huge asset both to you and the organization you work for. Note that the value and impact of a network grows with the square of the number of nodes in it. It's a compounding phenomenon. Its value grows slowly, and then all of a sudden it accelerates. Stick with it, and remember that a well-maintained network is portable. It goes wherever you go, whether it's up your current organization, out to another organization, or out to a business that you start. Don't forget that your classmates and professors can serve as the foundation for your initial network. The most important professional phone call I ever received was from a business school classmate. It led to a profound change in my career and life. Finally, my last and most important piece of advice. Live and act with integrity and honesty. Tell the truth. Let your word be your bond. I've made multi-billion-dollar decisions based largely on my trust in the person across the table. And I know others have made big bets on me because they trusted that I would do the right thing. A reputation for honesty and integrity takes years to build, as they say, but only an instant to lose. Perhaps the best practical advice I can offer on this subject is to have a plan. Affirmatively decide ahead of time that you're going to do the right thing. Don't wait until you're in the heat of the moment to decide. Decide and commit ahead of time, and in the heat of the moment, you'll be on autopilot. And by the way, if you ignore this advice and others' advice on honesty and integrity, then there's a good chance that nothing else I've said today will matter. So let me summarize. Expect accelerating change no matter what path you take. Be a lifelong learner. Aggressively embrace change. Be curious. Always treat the job you have as the best job you'll ever have. Build and maintain a network. And most importantly, commit with a capital C. Commit to act with honor and integrity. I'm excited for you all on this big day, and I'm jealous. I remember it like it was yesterday, the feeling I had of excitement as I was getting ready to finish school and launch off into the next chapter of my professional journey. Please enjoy it, and please remember to thank all of those who helped you along the way. I wish you all good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Bud, for your inspiring words and wise wisdom that you shared today. It provides excellent guidance to our graduates. We now move to award degrees to the graduate and undergraduate students who have successfully completed the requirements for their academic programs in the CGC. Each school dean and assistant provost will come forward and ask the candidates from their programs to please stand. Graduates, when your degree program is called, please rise until all programs within your school have been called. Colonel Goff will then ask all graduates to stand and confer all degrees at the end. Then graduates will come forward to the platform to receive their diplomas from President Walters. At this time, I invite Colonel Mike Weeks, Dean of the Tommy and Victoria Baker School of Business, to the podium.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Business Administration please stand? We in the Baker School of Business, all the faculty, are very proud of you. Thank you for choosing the Citadel. You may be seated.
Hello, I'm Colonel Andrew Williams, Dean of the School of Engineering. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Civil Engineering please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Electrical Engineering please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Project Management please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering please rise? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering please rise? Thank you for choosing the Citadel. We are very proud of your achievements. You may be seated. I invite Colonel Brian Madison Jones, Dean of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, to the podium.
Will the candidates for the degree Specialist in Education in School Psychology please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Clinical Counseling Psychology please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in English please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in History please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Intelligence and Security Studies please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in International Politics and Military Affairs please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Military History please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Psychology please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Social Science please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts in Intelligence and Security Studies please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts in Political Science please stand? We are indeed so proud of all of you and appreciate you for choosing the Citadel. You may be seated. I would like now to invite Colonel Faith Rivers James, Assistant Provost for Leadership and Department Head of Leadership Studies, to the podium.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Leadership please rise? Thank you for choosing the Citadel. Your entire Citadel family is very proud of you. You may be seated. I invite Colonel Darren Zimmerman, Dean of the Swain Family School of Science and Mathematics, to the podium.
Good afternoon. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Biology please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Sport Management please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Computer and Information Sciences please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Health, Exercise, and Sports Science please stand? Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing please stand? We are indeed very proud of you. Thank you for choosing the Citadel. You may be seated. I invite Colonel Evan Ortlieb, Dean of the Zucker Family School of Education, to the podium.
Good afternoon. Will the candidates for the degree Specialist in Educational Leadership please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master in Education and Educational Leadership please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Education in Counselor Education please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Education in Interdisciplinary STEM please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Education in Literacy Education please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Education in Higher Educational Leadership please stand? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Instructional Systems Design and Performance Improvement please stand? Thank you for choosing the Citadel. We are so proud of your accomplishments. You may be seated. I would now like to invite Dr. Selden back to the podium.
Colonel Goff, I am pleased to present these candidates who have been certified by the faculty as having successfully completed all requirements for their respective graduate and undergraduate degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Selden. You know, this is the best and coolest part of my job. I get to say the magic words. All the graduates, please rise. By the authority vested in me by the General Assembly of the State of South Carolina, as Chairman of the Board of Visitors, I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have qualified, with all the duties, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. We will now present diplomas to our newest graduates. General Walters will be assisted by Dr. Kevin Bauer and Dr. Kelly Brennan. Those receiving master's and specialist degrees will be called first. They will be followed in turn by recipients of the bachelor's degrees. I would like to point out that those master's degree students who have maintained a 4.0 average in all of their coursework are designated as graduating with distinction. and are listed as so in the program. Adult undergraduate students are recognized with Latin honors in the program. Those graduates who have received Honor Society recognitions are also listed in the program. Graduating veterans are denoted by the red, white, and blue cords. Graduates becoming life members in the Citadel Alumni Association will be announced as they cross the stage. This membership is vital to the future of the college. One measure of a college is the success of its graduates. Thank you for reaching back to support the Citadel through your Alumni Association membership on the very day that you graduate. The graduates will now come forward to receive their diplomas as their name is called.
William Grant Assetti. Amy Nicole Ackershock. Leslie Hamilton Adkins. Thomas Gilbert Akers, with distinction. Tamara Alexander. Dominique Jabari Allen. Carlos Santiago Almeida. Christopher Clay Alpert. Catherine Kellahan Anderson, with distinction, who will be presented her diploma by her father. Michael Robert Antonishak. Lacey Rain Adkins. Haley Beth Babb. Haley Caroline Barber. Jordan DeLynn Bates, with distinction. Stephen Benjamin Bentley. Benjamin John Boreski. Peter Bergeson. Vincent Charles Bianculli. Melody Sherry Boland, with distinction. Zachary Perry Bonadies. Chelsea Rose Bongiovanni, with distinction. Devin Alexis Bowersox. Jared Thane Bradshaw. Blake Anthony Breedmeyer. Aaliyah Mai Brimmer. Victoria Lindsay Brister. Jelena Marcel Brown. Lanier Terrell Brown. Megan Thais Brown. Abigail Buxhorn. Madison Christine Burgess, with distinction, CAA Life member, who will be presented her diploma by her sister. Allison Elaine Burrell. Michaela Ruth Buddle. John Philip Caglione. Jamie Samantha Kennedy, with distinction. Erica Morgan Carbonell. William Summy Carley, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Brittany Ashley Carter. Brianna Michelle Chapman, with distinction. Ronnie Thomas Collins II, with distinction. Jennifer Elizabeth Cutchins Nimmix. Benjamin Manuel Dacoba. Dinara Dare, with distinction. Robert Anthony Daniel III, who will be presented his diploma by his father and grandfather. Nadine Marie Danner. Elizabeth Masayo Davis. John Frederick Deacon, Jr. Philip Ryan Dockery, who will be presented his diploma by his son. Mariah Martin Draper, with distinction. Kyle Robert Dubois. Terry Wayne Ellington. Robert Wayne Elliott, Jr., with distinction. Mandy Inlow, with distinction. Brittany Evans. Julie Lynn Ford, who will be presented her diploma by her husband. Lindsay Renee French, with distinction, who will be presented her diploma by her husband. Stephanie Ann Fye, with distinction. Brilliance Paige Gilchrist Poteet. Olivia June Gill. Charlinica Yvonne Glasgow. Isaiah Marcel Gotchett. Kendall Hartline Going, with distinction. Taylor Brianne Graves, who will be presented her diploma by her father. Anne Marie Guerrero, with distinction, who will be presented her diploma by her father. John Harrison Hamilton, with distinction. Erica Denise Harper. Laura Renee Borgia Hayes. Dynasty Hayward, who will be presented her diploma by her mother. Kaylin Victoria Lily Hayward. Shaquille T. Hilton. Franklin David Robert Hoffman. Travis Centel Holland. Sarah Holstein. Ryan Jeffrey Hughes. With distinction. Chelsea Gia Hummelball. Mallory Ann Igo. Austin James. Tolise Glover Jenkins. Crystal Danielle Johnson, with distinction. Richard Russell Johnson, with distinction. Tasha Valita Joyner. Emily Ann Carafa. Mackenzie Arnold Kelly, with distinction. Austin Chandler Kilpatrick, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Ryan Jeffrey Kimball, with distinction. Audrey K. Lane. Gary Lee Layton, with distinction. Brett Dean Leach. Rachel Gamble Lechner. Giovanna Eleanor Leone, with distinction. Heidi Nanette Leslie, with distinction, CAA Life member. Demi Lewis. Laura Lewis. Vivian Schuler Lewis, who will be presented her diploma by her father. Danielle Elizabeth Lombardi, with distinction. Allison Evans Lowe. Christine Gabrielle Henry Luke. Quentin Major. Emma Marie Martindale, with distinction. Jared Allen Matthews. Penny Michelle Mayton. Michael Francis McAlevey, Jr. David Evan McDonald, who will be presented his diploma from his father. Barbara Michelle Meyer. Robert Felton Michael, with distinction. Tyler Charles Minor. Katora Dorcas Mingeldorf. Gage Chandler Mitchell. James Paul Mock. Tyler David Mofee. Meredith Elder Moore. Richard Mark Morvan, Jr., with distinction. Alexandra Isabella Majatich, with distinction. Noelle Elizabeth Natali. Robert Dean Neal II. Sade Delicia Nachelle Nelson, with distinction. Melissa Mixon Odom. Jessica Ann Orcutt, with distinction. Robert Cameron Orr. Frederick Forrest Page, who will be presented his diploma by his son-in-law. Matthew Kellard Paiva, with distinction. Alyssa Marie Paragano, with distinction. Samantha Rose Paragano, with distinction. Giancarlo Emmanuel Parado, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Thomas Ian Peters. Brandy Karina File. Aisha Romaine Pinkney. Andrea McAllister Pinkston. Jennifer Rachel Plain. Kathleen Polkowski, with distinction. David Powers, with distinction. Danielle Marie Racinos. Maxim Birch Rice. Shalana Rose Cochrane Richards. Elena Bryce Rink, with distinction. Jennifer Evias Rivera. Timothy Lee Robbins. Clark Alexander Roberts. Erica Robles. Victoria Rodriguez. Jennifer Mozelle Rowland. Lauren Paterka Rowland, with distinction. John Wesley Ropp IV, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Alexis Shea Ryan, with distinction. Chase Solishberry. Brian Paul Scarborough. James Scott, with distinction. Kayla Marie Shea. Deanna Lynn Shore-Reese, with distinction. Abigail Kerr Showalter. Trenton Lee Silvers. Joshua Luke Simon, with distinction. Mark Ashley Singleton. Nicole Sherelle Singleton. Danielle Marie Scarrett, with distinction. Margaret Wisnat Smith. Deborah Andrews Somerville. Keishla Natasha Soto Sanchez. Mark David Spangler. Link Hawes Span Jr., CAA Life member. Riley Elizabeth Stacy. Gabriel Joseph Stokes. James Lee Stokes, with distinction. Hunter Samuel Stout. Robert Allen Street, Jr. Laura Ann Sullivan, with distinction. Audrey Anna Sutton. Avriel Ayurim Osprey Taylor. Hannah Lee Thompson. Lauren Stahl Thompson. Alexandra Margot Trousdale. Jonathan Michael Tudor. Ronald Coleman Turner, Jr. Megan Marie Varley, with distinction. Jose Simone Verti. Tabitha Lean Yi Walls. John Lee Warder. Leslie Ann Warren. James Easton Burns Watkins, CAA Life member. William Edward Weber, Jr., with distinction, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Lauren Meredith Wesolowski. Bianca Chantel White. Nicole Yvonne Whitfield. Bethany Joy Wycliffe. Marion May Williams, with distinction. Amanda Wilson. Ashley Lauren Woodard Strode. Catherine Garrett Woodward. Cade Andrew Adams, summa cum laude, Marine Commissionee. Randolph Carlton Allen, Jr. Kyrie Azushena. Ruben Benjamin Benitez, summa cum laude. Connor Thomas Bevins, summa cum laude. David Matthew Blauser. Laura Gabriela Bonilla Ospina, CAA Life member. Lauren Elizabeth Boyle. Alicia Claire Brewington, magna cum laude. Benjamin Tucker Brislin, magna cum laude, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Tashima Mikkel Brown. Sebastian John Burton Alstrom, summa cum laude. Caleb Janus Campbell, who will be presented his diploma by his father. Michaela Haley Karen, magna cum laude. Raquel Lucia Clark, magna cum laude. John Emmett Crowder. Stephen Crowley. Brandon Keon Daniels. Melanie Joanne Delgado. Christopher Ryan Deemer, summa cum laude. Jonathan Roger Dobson Lewis, cum laude. Ezekiel Robert Durand, magna cum laude. Mason Storm Edie. Robert Wayne Elliott III, who will be presented his diploma by his mother. Angel Eduardo Figuerera. Latrice S. Ford. Sarah Gaffari, CAA Life member, who will be presented her diploma by her father. James Wesley Gillum, summa cum laude. William Brendan Guthrie, summa cum laude. Tristan Allen Hagerman. Casey Mickelent Hine, summa cum laude. William Thomas Hudson. William Bradford Jones, summa cum laude. Anthony John Kalinowski Green. Shanice S. King. Nicole Elizabeth Kingston. Tiffany Michelle Kingston. Alexis Danielle Knapp. William Richard Kaiser II. Leslie Eileen Lanou, summa cum laude. Shirlene Juan Lawson. Corbin Alexander Lucrelli, cum laude. Kevin Bryant McCousback, magna cum laude. Bailey Scott Marr. Tamika McCullough. Sean William McLarnon. Brandon Joseph Miles, summa cum laude. Manuel Christopher Miller, summa cum laude. Peyton John Robert Moniz. Thomas William Moran. Garrett Michael Music. Ronald Wayne Nelson III. Arlu Lita Nicholas. Danielle Marie Olivetti, summa cum laude. Brooklyn Laura Parnell. Aikisha Patel. Philip Ray Rogers, Jr., cum laude. Brittany Schaefer Rose. Christine Elizabeth Charnagel. Raymond Robert Scully, summa cum laude. Rachel Short. Charles Parker Smith. Emily Page Spilvogel. Nicole Santana Stolf, magna cum laude. Stephen Richard Sullivan, Jr. Amber Lynn Williams Thigpen, magna cum laude. Taylor Nicole Tuja. Samuel Riley Venning. McKenna Jean Vergnal, who will be presented her diploma by her father. Joseph Troy Walters, cum laude. Nicole C.V. Witten. Kendall James Wouters, summa cum laude. Nicholas William Wright, CAA Life member.
Okay, you're officially all overeducated compared to my standard. So congratulations to all of you. I'm now going to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Chuck Bledsoe, the President of the Alumni Association, to welcome you to our association. Colonel?
Sir. Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2022, I'd like to congratulate each one of you and your accomplishments in earning of your degree. As president of the Citadel Alumni Association, I had the privilege of representing the many thousands of graduates of the Citadel. And on behalf of all that have gone before you, I extend our congratulations as you join the ranks of Citadel graduates. You have devoted countless hours of personal time to earn your degree. You had to give up free time during the week, on the weekends, balanced your professional responsibilities and family obligations, and devoted yourself to accomplishing your goal of earning a degree. which I might say is probably a little bit easier to be when I got a master's and the Army was still paying me, so I was able to go to Syracuse. But anyway, y'all, I'm sure, had to work a little bit harder than I did. But each of you experienced different challenges to get here, but through your personal drive, commitment, and perseverance, you've all succeeded. So enjoy today's well-deserved praise and congratulations. You've earned it. I want to go off script here for just a minute because we've had our cadets kind of locked in the barracks. We were able to always get the word out to them. So this is our shameless advertising. As some of y'all had gone across here, we had talked about being a CAA life member and such. And just in case you haven't gotten the word, we offer before you graduate a significant discount on your life membership. So for the next week, we're extending that until Friday in case anyone didn't get the word that we would like you to be a member of our association because you represent us just as much as I represent you. We're all Citadel graduates now. And as we like to brag about the accomplishments of our many graduates, well, you also have the right now to be bragging about those accomplishments too. Just like we want to be able to brag about each of you and everything you've accomplished in life. So get back to the script basically, but I thank you very much. I wish you congratulations. We'd love to have you all as a part of our association, just as much as anyone that slept in those barracks over there. We all have the same diploma. It says the Citadel on it. You represent us and we'll represent you. So thank you, congratulations, and I wish you all the best.
If anybody wants to stay in the barracks, for a small fee, I can arrange that. A little extra money, I might even turn the air conditioner on during the summer. So, hey, congratulations. This has been a great day in the lives of our graduates and their families. Please know it is also a great day for the Citadels who are now forever part of each other's history. I'd like to thank the faculty and the staff of the Citadel for your contributions to achieving these milestones for our graduates. And most of all, I want to thank the families and the friends of the graduates. You've been with them during this journey and your support has been critical to their success. And I loved hearing you cheer. It's my honor and pleasure to request that you remove your tassels from the right to the left. So in the script it says, let's give our graduates a round of applause. So we already kind of got past that, so I had to live just a little bit. Before I turn back over to Dr. Selden to close us out here, one more piece of advice. Go out with your families tonight, have a great time, celebrate the love of each other, and I wish you all the best in whatever you're going to do next. Thank you so much.
I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for our alma mater. The words are printed on the back inside cover of the program. I ask everyone to please join us in singing along. It was indeed a great day. Congratulations to everyone in this room, and this concludes the 2022 Citadel Graduate College Commencement Ceremony. I appreciate everybody being here, and we wish you safe travels and welcome to the Citadel family.